Let's get the ball rolling by layering a couple of breakbeats up using Tal's excellent sampler. By using this, instead of what our DAW has under the hood, we can instantly print a retro 1990s sound onto our breaks. Load Tal Sampler onto a new MIDI track, then create a 1-bar MIDI region with a C3 note in it to trigger the sample. Now, let's drop a break in. We'll set the BPM to 140, then open Tal Sampler's Layer A tab. Import DF Beats D 12004.wav, then move the loop end marker to the end of the break. Change the high and low key to C3 so that only one note triggers the sample. Time stretch the break to the track's tempo by setting the stretch mode to cyclic with the stretch amount at 16%. Enable the click to check the timing. We'll add the same break to layer B. Turn on the layer and load in the break with the root, high and low keys set to D3. Set the stretch mode to cyclic again at 16% stretch, then move the sample start to the first snare. We can then play notes C3 and D3 interchangeably, allowing us to start the break either at the kick or snare for greater variety. We can use Tal Sampler's resampler to print the sound of the classic Akai S1000 onto our break. Set the mode to S1000, then reduce the bit depth to 12-bit with the sample rate at around 22 kHz. Dialing in some saturation alongside this will give our break a full, fat sound. Reduce the channel volume to -6 dB to keep the levels in check. Now, let's throw down another break. Add another instance of Tal Sampler to a new MIDI track, then copy the MIDI region from our first track to trigger the sample. Open Tal Sampler and import DF Beats B 12001.wav from the Dusty Funk pack into Layer A. This is a bass heavy break that layers brilliantly with our first one. Move the loop end to the sample's end and set the root, high and low keys to C3. Time stretch the second break by setting the stretch mode to cyclic with stretch amount at 16%. Now you'll hear the two breaks layer together into one groove. Turn on layer B and import the second break again with the root, high and low keys set to D3. Set the loop start to the first snare. We'll apply the same time stretch settings as layer A, so the break plays in time. Turn the sampler channel down to -6 dB so that both our breaks balance nicely together. We'll colour our second break differently to the first by selecting the EMU2 resampler with the sample rate at around 22 kHz, hiss at 0.6, and jitter at 0.8. This gives our break a hissy, crunchy sound that's reminiscent of classic 90s rave records. Now, let's start mapping out a longer drum track. Extend the MIDI region on the first break channel to 4 bars. Now, draw in notes to create your own drum pattern using the variations of the break we've set up. After you've created your pattern, copy the MIDI onto the other sampler track so that both breaks are triggered in unison. Duplicate the MIDI regions over 16 bars so we can start adding some other sounds into the mix. Vinyl noise from the layering kit pack will add atmosphere and make our track sound like a vinyl rip. Grab LK Vinyl Noise C02.wav and add it to a new audio channel. Duplicate the sound across the arrangement, then turn the channel down to -20 dB to stop the noise dominating the mix. Next, we'll add a musical sample from the 80s heat pack. Put Synth Tinkle's 120 BPM.wav on a new audio track. Set the synth sample's warp mode to Complex Pro, reducing unwanted artifacts. We'll turn the synth channel down to -9 dB to keep the levels sweet. Next, we'll add a female vocal from CM278's Vocal Sessions pack. Import vocal.wav onto a new audio track, then delete everything except the first 16 bars of audio. Chop up the vocal into individual segments so that each phrase is a separate piece of audio. The vocal gradually drifts out of time as the 16-bar phrase opens up, so go through and quantize every part of it until it flows nicely with the track. Next, we'll add an 808 bass hit to give our section some sub-low power. Add a new MIDI track, and call up Dope VST's Bass Engine CM. We'll select the 2010's 808 Clinical preset as it's the most authentic on offer. Add a new 2-bar MIDI clip to the channel, and draw in a few E0 notes to create a bass stub to lay it underneath the rest of our parts. Copy the clip across once, then add an E1 note to the end of the second clip to create a variation. Duplicate the 2 clips across the arrangement, then turn down the channel to -4 dB to keep the levels balanced.